This is the Morning Shower.
Brought to you by Late Night Hump.
Let the news wash over you.
With Jordan Freed,
Brendan O'Brien,
and Reena Ezra. These are your ShowerHead Lines.
no one was hurt when a fire tore through two of the three buildings comprising a Howard Johnson Express hotel in Gloucester Township on Wednesday morning. If the hotel hadn't been Express, though, the firefighters probably would have made it in time.
Senators in South Carolina have voted to add firing squad as an alternative method of execution if the state can't put inmates to death via lethal injection. Senator Dick Harpootlian, a Democrat who is against the death penalty, noted that South Carolina is unlikely to do away with the death penalty anytime soon. He said, "If we're going to have to do it, it should be humane." You can't argue with that. After all, death by firing squad has always been the universal symbol for humanity.
Dr. Oz rushed to save a 60-year-old man who had collapsed in the Newark Liberty International Airport in New Jersey. The man collapsed near baggage claim, did not have a pulse, and wasn't breathing. Okay, so there's a lot to unpack here. First off, my heart goes out to that man. How did he just collapse, though? Did a situation go down? Because I can totally relate when you don't see your bag on the conveyor belt and have a panic attack, and then you notice someone else took your bag, and you're like, "Lady, this isn't your bag." And she's like, "Yeah, it is." And I'm like, "Oh, really? You have a lime green bag with a camel on it because you're a boss-ass bitch from Late Night Hump?" And then she gives you a weird face because she doesn't understand a word you're saying, but's too frightened to argue with you, and then leaves, and then you take the win, but that costs you some energy. Second, Dr. Oz said, quote, "I performed CPR with the help of a Newark Port Authority police officer and cleared the man's airway. Thankfully, the airport had a defibrillator nearby that we were able to save his life." So, Doc, if that's your real name, did you actually save his life? Because it seems like you got a lot of help from a police officer and a defibrillator. Just because you did CPR doesn't prove you're a doctor. German Shepherds can do CPR. In fact, the defibrillator can be the host for your fake-ass TV show. Just tell everyone the truth, that this was all just a publicity stunt.
Human remains of early New Yorkers that were discovered during construction in and around Washington Square Park were reinterred inside the park on Tuesday, New York City officials announced. The remains, uncovered during construction between 2008 and 2017, were reburied with assistance from the City Landmarks Preservation Commission and Brooklyn's historic Greenwood Cemetery, Parks Commissioner Mitchell Silver said. "People dug up a bunch of New York City corpses from 2008 to 2017, and we're wondering why the world's gone to shit since?"
SpaceX CEO Elon Musk said he wants to create a new city called Starbase around the rocket building company's Southeast Texas launch site. In a series of Twitter posts about his plans, the billionaire tech tycoon said the city would encompass an area much larger than Boca Chica, the unincorporated seaside village where SpaceX built its massive rocket facility. You gotta admit, Mayor Musk has a nice ring to it. Elon Musk running his own town will be great practice for his inevitable future reign as Intergalactic Supreme Chancellor Musk.
A prosecutor declined to file charges Tuesday against a suburban Detroit man who displayed a Ku Klux Klan flag in his window next to the home of a black family, saying the horrible conduct doesn't violate Michigan law. An ethnic intimidation charge would require physical activity, said Wayne County Prosecutor Kim Worthy. "Well, Kim, I deem you unworthy of establishing what is considered intimidating or not. Why don't I wave my naked butt in front of your kitchen window and see how you like it?"
President Joe Biden said the U.S. expects to take delivery of enough coronavirus vaccines for all adults by the end of May. Unfortunately, by the end of May, there may only be 200 adults left.
A small porcelain bowl purchased at a Connecticut yard sale turned out to be a rare 15th century Chinese artifact worth between $300,000 and $500,000, and it's about to go up for auction at Sotheby's. The buyer, whom is not being named, paid the $35 asking price and later emailed information and photos to Sotheby's asking for an evaluation. It turns out that one person's trash is another person's retirement fund.
The parents of a 10-year-old girl who was thrown from an amusement park ride in Cumberland County have sued the manufacturers and operators of the ride, alleging they knew for many years that the ride could be deadly. Seriously, lady? Have you ever seen a carny before? Of course these rides are deadly. The good news for the carnival, though, is that most carnival thrill seekers want to feel like they're going to die.
Texans will no longer be required to wear a face mask in public, and all businesses will be able to open at full capacity starting next week, Governor Greg Abbott announced yesterday. Abbott made the sweeping move on Texas Independence Day, even though public health officials say restrictions are still critical to control the pandemic, which has killed more than 42,500 Texans. Abbott has already received major backlash for the short-sighted decision, including former Texas resident Sandy Cheeks, who was quoted as saying, "I don't want to go home. I don't want to go home."
A California driver who said he had used a mannequin as his passenger for at least a year and a half in order to access carpool lanes has been cited and faces a fine of at least $400. The mannequin, adorned with gray hair, wrinkles, glasses, a Cleveland Indians baseball hat, and a face mask, sat in the passenger seat of the driver's Toyota Tacoma when he was pulled over on February 19th. Officer S. Sullinger was patrolling the eastbound 210 freeway in Glendora in search of carpool violators. The officer noticed the front passenger in the Toyota was suspicious and that the vehicle had tinted windows on its front passenger side, which is illegal. Sullinger realized the passenger was fake when the driver rolled down his window. The driver didn't say much, California Highway Patrol Officer Rodrigo Jimenez said to the Los Angeles Daily News on Friday, other than that he'd been driving with the mannequin and he'd been getting away with it for a year and a half. The driver was cited for the carpool infraction, but the mannequin was not confiscated. Turns out it's only illegal to fraudulently use the carpool lane, and nobody cares if you have a mannequin for a boyfriend. Thank you for showering with us.
Lather, rinse, repeat every day before noon.
Scrub-a-dub-dub at latenighthump.com.